You will never succeed in IELTS if welcome back. I hope you're crushing it out there. Today we're going to talk about how to get an 8+ band in IELTS. I know for so many of us, IELTS is a difficult test to crack. Getting even the bare minimum, especially in the academic section, is a big deal. But today, ladies and gentlemen, you are lucky because I'm going to give you the exact roadmap that I have followed, and if you do too, nobody can stop you from getting at least a 7.5 or an 8 band in IELTS. I'm also going to include some pro tips and tricks. Watch till the end so you don't miss it. You're watching Talks with Jinesh. Let's get started. IELTS has 4 categories as we know: listening, speaking, reading and writing. Out of these 4, reading and writing are the most challenging topics by far for many of us, including myself. I personally struggled with the reading section the most. In the beginning, I was very confident. I am from a convent background, so I was very confident. But as I went into it deeper, I realized that it is not what it seems and I have to put in more effort if I want to do well. After all of the practices, trials and errors, I gave my exam and I got a 7.5. In the reading section, my brother got a full 9 band and so he totally crushed it. I was able to get a lot of advice and help from him as well. I know had I put in a little bit more effort, I would have easily got an 8 or an 8.5. But today we're going to talk about things that you can do to avoid getting a 7.5 and make sure that you get an 8. In Canada, most universities will require you to have at least a 6.5 overall, 6.5 in reading, writing and a 6 band in speaking and listening. When you apply for PR, it's a little bit complicated, but a good goal to aim for is a 7 overall and a 6.5 in each module. If you are wondering how you're going to make it, watch this video till the end and it will be a fruitcake for you. I'm going to divide this video into 4 categories: listening, speaking, writing and reading. Number 1, listening. This is the easiest of all in my opinion because all you have to do is listen carefully. Now, accent is where most people get beaten up, but I'm going to give you this one technique that if you follow, you're not only going to understand it quicker, but you're going to master the accent. Okay, I'm giving it now. You ready? Watch movies. Not Desi Bollywood Hindi movies, but watch English movies. Watch TV series. Back in the day when I was doing my grind, I loved to watch Flash. I loved to watch Arrow. I would finish episodes and episodes in one day. You could love Friends. Friends is a very popular TV show and it never makes any sense to me. If anyone is watching it near me, I have to sit 20 feet away from them, but you could love it and that's totally fine. Watching English movies and series will help you hear and understand spoken English fully. Hearing how certain words are pronounced will help you remember and memorize the sounds. A good number of episodes to aim for while watching a series is about 3 to 5 episodes. The more you watch, the more exposure you will get to the language. If movies or TV shows don't interest you, another method which will also help you learn more would be to play my videos, the videos on my channel, play them. No joke folks, sit down every day and play my videos from start to finish. Either keep it playing on your phone while you do your work or keep it on another tab on your PC. What this will do is give you knowledge and information about different topics such as finding an accommodation, cost of living, etc. because my videos are very informative, and since my videos are also in English, it would straighten out words in your head, get you used to listening English and help you get closer to that 8.0. Start listening to English music, listen to different songs in English, but for God's sake don't listen to rap songs. Bad, it's awful, I feel so ashamed, I snap, who's that dude? I don't even know his name, I laid hands on him, I never stood so low again, I guess I don't know my own strength. That was me rapping back in Toronto, but in the beginning you want to listen to calm, slow English music with a lot of English words in it. This will do 2 things: help you relax and improve your listening. When you sit down to do your listening practice test, make sure to concentrate. 30 minutes is a long time to actively sit down and listen for answers, but if you lose focus, you will miss answers. When I would sit down to do the test, I would get distracted very often and my mom always complained about it, but through practice and practice, I was able to sit my butt down and focus for 30 minutes, and I'm sure you can do the same. Before we move on guys, if you're enjoying this video, give it a thumbs up, smash that like button and give me a bro fist. Number 2, speaking. If you heard me speak over the phone, you wouldn't say I am from India. How I developed such fluency, how I'm able to make the sentences in my mind and deliver with such a smooth flow, practice. Practice, practice, practice. I want you to start speaking in English for 30 days straight. With your family, friends, relatives, everyone. There are thousands of online practice questions available that you can do to improve. Understand this, there is no specific question that you need to prepare for while speaking, because the examiner is not going to test your knowledge on the question, they're going to test your speaking skills. How fluent you are, how smoothly you are able to deliver sentences without pauses. When you answer, add emotion to it. Speak with your emotions. Nothing separates an experienced speaker from a beginner as the tone of speech. Express emotions as you would do with your native language. Extend your speech. Make sure to speak more than the examiner. If you are asked a one-sentence question, reply in 2 sentences or more. Do you like playing sports? Oh yes, I love sports. I'm a competitive table tennis player. Back in the school days, our PE teacher would have to chase us out of the games room because we would keep playing even after the break was over. You see how I expressed emotion? How my tone of voice was changing up and down? That will portray you as an experienced speaker. Give yourself time to think. If you are unsure how to answer a certain question, give yourself some time to think by saying something like, "That's a tricky question. That's an interesting question. I've never thought about that one before." This way you will have extra time to plan the answer in your head. Make a good first impression. Look good, smell good, feel good, be confident. Although it may not seem very important, a strong first impression will go a long way. Number 3, reading. Reading is by far the most challenging module to master, and especially completing 40 questions in 60 minutes. Is that even doable? Piece of cake, folks. I'm going to tell you how you can not only succeed in it, but go above and beyond your expectations. Tip number 1, don't panic. Some of the questions will be easy and some of the questions will be difficult. The key is to not panic when answering a difficult question. Take a deep breath and you'll be fine. The wrong thing to do is to spend a large amount of time on one question and fail to spend enough time on the other questions. If the answer does not present itself, move on to the next one. You can always come back to this question when you're done answering everything else. Tip number 2, practice slow and fast. What I mean by that is sit down to do the reading test under the exam conditions, that is 45 minutes, which means 1 hour, no help. And then sit down to do the test in under 45 minutes. This is going to train your mind to speed up. The quicker you find the right answers, the more time you will have to review in the end. Remember, when you're training for a race, you run on sand, not on the mud, because running on sand is more difficult compared to running on mud. So when you get to running on mud, it will be much easier for you to run. Tip number 3, read the instructions very carefully. Sometimes they can be tricky. I speak from experience. I've lost marks so many times during the trial periods, you can ask my mom about it. I would never read the questions fully, and as a result, I would lose marks because of the technicality. This is especially true in reading and listening tests, because they give you very precise instructions to follow, and if you don't, you will end up losing marks. For example, the instruction might state just one word. At this time, we need to be really careful with articles like a and an. The text might say an earthquake, but if the question is just one word, simply write earthquake. Tip number 4, guys, practice. Practice, practice, practice. It's the game changer. It is the ultimate key to cracking the reading section for the IELTS. There are tons of online resources. I will link a few below. Download them. I'd also recommend to print them out. It will help your eyes live longer. No matter how good you think you are, if you don't practice enough, the test will beat you to your knees. I personally took it very casually at the time with such high level of confidence, overconfidence. I could have done wonders had I put in a little bit more effort. Let's talk about writing. For writing, the number 1 tip would be to keep in mind that task 1 is worth 1/3 of the total mark and task 2 is worth 2/3 of the total mark. It is not important to spend too much time in task 1, or you will not leave yourself with enough time to focus on task 2 and perform well in it. And I think that is where I got hit hard. I was too focused on part 1, which left me with little time to prepare for part 2. Tip number 2, use nice words. I remember when I was doing my prep, I would use above average words and put it in my writing somehow. So for example, instead of writing maybe, I would use perhaps. Instead of writing traveling foreign, I would use traveling overseas. They both mean the same thing, but there's a difference. It feels a little more sophisticated and the language feels a little more premium. Tip number 3, interest. When practicing, choose a topic that will interest you. Use a variety of questions and try writing within the word and the time limit. Choosing something that will interest you will automatically generate ideas in your head and boost your confidence. Remember, 25% of your marks will come from task response, 25% from coherence and cohesion. Coherence means the connection of ideas at the idea level, and cohesion means the connection of ideas at the sentence level. The cohesion will focus on the grammatical aspects of the writing. 25% of your mark will come from vocabulary. So if you are using above average words, then that is going to help you. And 25% will come from grammar. You will never succeed in IELTS if you don't have a routine. If you really want to do well and get that 8.0 in 30 days, set yourself a routine. Dedicate yourself completely to IELTS. What's more important than the grind is the consistency. How consistent are you? Are you willing to do what it takes? Every day, 4 hours reading, 4 hours writing, 4 hours speaking, 4 hours listening, 16 hours a day grind. Maybe not so intense, but if you can get somewhere close with the consistency, you, my friend, are going to crush it. Number 2, blanks. Do not leave any blanks. If for any reason you run short on time, whatever it is you don't know the answer, do not leave anything blank. If you're going to go down swinging. Put something in there. Who knows, maybe the marker is drunk and he sees something on your paper and he just decides to give you a mark for it. Now obviously the chances for that is very less, but you get my point, right? Never leave blanks, give a guess answer. Tip number 3, use a pencil. Now you've probably heard the saying, a pen is mightier than a sword, but you know what's mightier than a pen? A pencil. A simple pencil will make your life easy in ways you cannot imagine. Think of a paper with 20 scratches, and now think of a paper neatly written with 0 scratches. Which would you want to read? Obviously the latter, right? So get into the habit of using a pencil. That's everything I've had to say. Give the video a thumbs up. If you've got a question, drop it in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe. Hey, I have faith in you. You got this. All the best.